Welcome to The Sober Unicorn. We are a gay-hosted, all-inclusive podcast about sobriety and addiction recovery for the LGBT plus community and all of our allies. I am your host, Holden, and thank you for joining us today. Well, hello, everybody. It's Holden back here again with The Sober Unicorn. If you're not having a good day, I hope it does get better. So today we are being joined by somebody else that we recently met on Instagram. We haven't been talking a ton of time, but they did kind of like send a message being like, oh, I love the podcast. Thank you so much for what you're doing. And I was like, well, come on. Well, why don't you hop on? And he was quick to agree. And it was like a very last minute schedule. But hello, Tyler. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, it was very quick, but I'm excited to be here.
I mean,
I'm
I
excited to
needed
be
a
a part of it.
guest, and you were quick to respond. So I was like, okay, let me ask and see what he says. Because
Um,
I'm kind of the recovery community I'm in now is a lot of straight people. And I've
oh.
been meaning to find more gay guests. So I was like, oh, gay man in recovery.
Yeah, there's not a lot, it seems like, since most of them are centered like a lot of gay people. I mean, straight people, sorry.
Yeah.
Um, but there are
But
some out here like gay halfway house, like sober livings and stuff in recovery
yeah, because
centers.
where are you at?
I'm in like LA, kind of
Okay.
California.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in LA. Oh, God, I miss living out there. I used to live in Corona, California for like 3 years, I think it was.
Uh-huh.
So I used to be in LA all the time. Now I'm in Fort Lauderdale, the absolute opposite.
Oh, I've
Yeah,
never been there, but
you need to come out.
Florida.
You can get like a ticket from LA for like maybe $150 round trip. Yeah, 'cause I was
Oh,
looking
maybe I
into
need to look
Vegas
into that.
recently, and it was only going to cost
Yeah.
me, I think, like 115. I think, round trip to Vegas.
That is not bad at
But
all.
it's a long flight. It's like 6 hours.
Yeah. Is it like nonstop or is
Um,
it a layover?
I think the one I was looking at was nonstop.
Yeah.
I don't like dealing with layovers anymore. Ever since
I hate it.
I was flying back from Rome and missed my flight in New York due to, um, whatever. I can't remember the consulate, the people the check people that check your
Hmm.
passports and stuff.
Yeah.
Can't remember what they're called right now, but they made me miss my flight by 4 minutes. So ever since then, I tried to avoid layovers at all costs.
Yeah. They're the worst.
They
Just in
are, they
general.
are.
Just in,
So of course you're in
but
recovery. So
yes.
kind of before we get into the topic of the episode, why don't you kind of give everybody a little bit of backstory of like who you are, what your addiction like look like, and kind of what your recovery journey has looked like so far.
Okay. Well, I guess my drug of choice is alcohol. Mine was very lonely. But I didn't do all the partying and all the wild stuff. I just stayed at home and like drank and played video games all the time and like ate frozen pizza. That was my life for like 10 years. Which during it was great. I loved it, right? But um, I wasn't living, so here we are now. I had 2 years sober. Like last week was my 2 years. Um, and it's been great. I was in a sober living and a house manager for a year and a half. That had some ups and downs, but it was fun for the most part. Um, and it was good to stay with that sober community like constantly. It definitely saved me at times being around those people. Um, but yeah, that was
So,
kind of my life.
so I know that sober living kind of is a unique experience for most people. So like, what was your experience sober living? Was it good, bad? I mean,
Uh, It was good. It was well, I didn't have much time to actually like just be in the sober living. I was running like basically running it right away because I had a family member that actually opened the sober living. So and basically I had like a month maybe to just chill and like kind of get my footing or whatever, my grounding. And then I started driving the van and like, doing all that. And telling people like drug testing people and doing that stuff right away. And it was a lot at first, but you know, you get used to it. And then like it was cool. We had free gym membership, so like got to go to the gym, and like that was a big part of my. That's been a big part of my sobriety as well. Is working out and feeling good about myself.
So you were like only a month clean or sober when you
Yeah.
started managing. I mean, do you think that kind of like helped your recovery, or do you think it made it like harder to get through those first few months?
Um, I think I made it a little bit harder at times. Because it was like all the stress that was put on right away. I'm like, ugh. But overall, I think it helped because I mean, I had to go. I couldn't skip any meetings, so I had to go inside and be with the people. So like some people like they only had like 4 meetings a week, right? That you had to go to, and like so I had to go like all 7 days, and so I was always there. I think that helped a lot. But
So you had to
eventually,
go all 7 days because you were driving the druggy buggy.
yep, I was
Okay,
driving the what do they call it? The druggy buggy. I got a bunch of names for it.
I've only heard of the druggy buggy down here.
What do they call it? Something limousine. I can't remember.
Maybe I don't. Every time I think of the white vans that they drive, I think of a pill.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm like, who knows? Um,
But,
so did you seek out like a 12-step program? Did you seek out like smart recovery, CBT? Kind of what has been your go-to for seeking recovery?
uh, 12 step has been the main one. I've done a few of like, is it still called Dharma or, there's one like, it's more like, Buddhist or like,
Really? I've never heard
yeah,
of that.
I think they changed the name of it. It used to be called Dharma Recovery, but I think something happened with the guy who started it
Uh-oh.
and they kind of switched it over. But, and then Smart Recovery as well. I haven't really done much with Smart Recovery, mostly just the 12 steps. Um, and
I want to try
I just mostly,
CBT, which is like it's cognitive behavioral therapy. It's more about
yeah.
like realizing the way you think and like learning how to like
Hmm.
flip it around. But I mean, I also got a 12-step program, but it's going to be interesting because I believe we work different 12-step programs,
Uh-huh.
but the same. It's kind of sort of the
Yeah.
same because
Yeah.
of course without your fellowship, we would never have had my fellowship. Um,
Yeah.
so the tools are like the steps that are given throughout the.
So, um, well, damn.
Do you think? I mean, so do you think it's like the daily inventory? Do you think it's like pausing and just taking a breath?
Yes. So definitely, the gratitude list is huge. Staying grateful every day of that's actually helped me a lot. Being able to share that with other addicts and people in recovery. Um, and like seeing what they're grateful for as well. It's been huge. Um, and then I don't. The biggest thing is like for me, one day at a time. Like
Hmm.
you just got to make it 24 hours, and then the next day. To me, that's like some people say like 1 minute at a time. But
I
that's
know
the
for it
biggest
has
thing.
been 1 minute at a time for me on a few occasions.
Yeah.
One day at a time is so important because I was at
Yes.
a meeting last night. Somebody was celebrating, or somebody there had like 12 years clean. And I'm like, I
Hmm.
look at that, I'm like, holy, there's no fucking way that I'm gonna get 12 years. But it's like, okay, girl, like you didn't think you'd be able to hit a year, let alone I just surpassed my year and God, what month was it? December. So
Okay.
and you, of course you had 2 years. And I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think when we were 10 days in, 6 days in, that we ever even thought a year would be possible.
No, I used to be afraid that I would never be able to drink. Like, I was afraid that I would never get to drink again. Like, that sounds crazy to me. That the thought of never being able to do it again, and like now it's like, why would I even want to?
I know.
But you still have those days, though. You still have those days where you're like, damn.
There
But
are those days. I think
yeah,
for me traveling is probably the most difficult thing, not drinking.
yeah, yeah,
um Like what is like probably the most difficult times for you? Is it like a celebration when you get depressed?
I would say probably closer to the like like getting rest like after work, like stuff like that is usually where I'm like, oh man, I just had a long day. It would be great to just go home and like crack open a beer and just chill, um, and relax. But that's not it.
Because
Now I just
you,
go to
as you
the
said, you were
gym.
more of an isolator. You drank alone.
Yes,
See, I was
yes,
I was the total polar opposite. I was the drinker, the partier, the
yeah,
going out every day. But as you said, like I didn't think that I'd be able to go a year without drinking, and now I look at it, I'm like, God, why did I even drink in the first place? Because I'm
yeah,
able to save so much money. I'm able to
yeah,
wake up and remember absolutely everything that happened the night before. Um,
yes.
and memories that are created today, I can recall them in the future. So,
Yeah.
what what has been the hardest thing you've had to do um in recovery to keep your sober day?
Um, let's see. I don't know if this is really it. I went through a breakup this year, and that was tough. Because at the same time, I was like transitioning out of the sober living, and I kind of got into it with the owner a little bit, and so all that happening at the same time, that was the toughest, definitely. Because I was going to work, I also started going to school at that time. Um, it was all this stuff, and I that's probably what helped me is actually going to school. But it was during all that was definitely the toughest. There was days where I just was like one foot in front of the other, exactly one day at a time. That is what it was.
Yeah.
One day, one
I
foot
mean,
in front of the other, just keep going.
did you ever have to like cut off friends, relationships?
Um, I never really had to because I didn't have any of those friends, right? Because I was an isolator. So I didn't, I know some people like they've had a group of friends like partying and doing all that, and like they definitely like you can't really go hang out with those people anymore because they're still using. Um, Especially early, I feel like probably not at all, but I didn't have those friends, so because I was
Of course.
isolated.
So you're, I mean, I would say now at this point, your entire friendship group is within the 12-step program.
Yeah, or people to understand that like going out to bars isn't gonna be something I necessarily want to do. I can do it without feeling triggered, but I'd rather go on a hike or like go see a movie, do other stuff like that,
A
than go hang
hike?
out at the bar.
No, sir.
No,
No. I'm a
no
big girl. I
hikes.
do not want to go hiking nowhere.
It's fun sometimes.
I mean, well, we don't have any hike. Like, we don't have any trails here in
Oh,
South Florida where it's just, I'll
yeah.
take a hike down the sand dune straight to the beach.
That's actually the best hike. Um, but I don't know, out here there's a lot, so
Yeah.
you
So
know.
you being in LA, I mean, is the recovery community there big? Because I know for me in Texas, I thought I was like, oh, this is such a great community. I was in like Dallas Fort Worth area, and then I moved
Uh,
to South Florida, and it's like the smallest meeting I've been to here is probably like 40 people. The biggest meeting I've been to here was probably almost 200, and that's just like a normal day-to-day meeting. Like, do you feel that the recovery community there is big or small?
um, I would say it's not as big as that. I don't believe because at least the meetings that I've been to, there's been a few that are bigger ones, where there's like maybe 100. Um, but you can find them with like 40, and then there's some that like are smaller. Like there's a gay meeting out here. There's like 12 people, but it's cool to have that, right? Um, there's also other ones that have a lot more people. Um, but the ones I've been to have been smaller. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm in like the valley, so it's
Oh, okay,
a
okay. Do
little
y'all
bit
have
outside of
Lambda
LA.
out there or no?
Do I know what that? I don't think I know what that is.
Lambda is Lambda, I think it is. It's like the gay chapter.
Oh, okay. I don't, not that I'm aware of.
You
I
should
might.
Google it. You should. I mean, I
I'm
know
going
that
to.
they have there's always like a Lambda house within
Hmm.
like the bigger cities and stuff, and they have everything from AA, CMA, NA, but primarily I would say it's all AA.
Yeah, I have never known about that.
Hmm.
I will look that up and check it out.
So, how is your relationship now with like your family? I mean, did you have to like cut them off for a little bit while getting clean, or
Um, my family, they like my mom dropped me off at the door of the rehab. They were there through the whole thing. Um, my dad was using, um, so I didn't like seeing him, but we never really had a relationship. But it was like definitely didn't want to see him while he was using because he is a different person. That happens a lot. Um, but no, most of my family was there through all of it. I didn't. There was not a lot of cutting off I had to do. Um,
and have
I think
you been able to maybe like, I mean, is your dad still actively like using? Have you been able to help guide him through recovery?
I haven't helped. He finally he went to the doctor. He had some health issues,
Hmm.
and the doctor said something to him like, "Hey man, you're gonna die if you keep doing this." And he kind of just stopped after that. I think he still drinks, but he was using meth, but he
Yeah.
stopped.
I mean,
Yeah,
hey, you know what? If
we
people
I
can drink normally, go for it.
yeah.
Like
I don't
I
think he's
can't.
drinking normally, but yeah,
um, I mean,
I guess.
meth and alcohol were my main vices. So it's like, but again, if I mean, well, normal is very subjective too, to depending on who you are.
Yeah,
Um, so you said you went through a breakup.
yeah,
Um, did like was this person also in recovery with you?
yeah, yeah. He was. I met him on the. I don't know if you've heard of Lucid.
How is
Like,
Lucid? Because I know when I first got clean, I tried. I think it was called Sober Dating, and
hmm.
their geographical location sucked. I put only people in Texas. It was showing me people from Maine and Washington. So I mean, is Lucid at least a better, more updated app?
What's well, it's when I used it, it was fine. Um, I really didn't stay on it that long, especially like the dating part. Like, I just got on it and then we matched and then we talked and then we met and went on a date and that was it. And as far as like just using the regular side of the app, I just would get on and read sometimes. I didn't spend a lot of time on it, I guess.
Mhm.
Just made that connection there and then was like, all right, bye.
When I know that they have like a community side of the app too. So there's like two
Yeah,
separate sides. There's the dating and the community. I've
yeah.
been wanting to like download it and like see what the community, because I of course I'm seeing somebody. So I don't want to like, yeah, get on the dating app and my partner be like, what the hell is this?
Hello.
So what did you do? I mean, the thing is, breakups aren't easy. You were transitioning out of halfway. Um, who did you lean on the most, or what did you do to make sure that you didn't jump straight back to drinking to cope?
uh, I probably leaned on my mom the most, and my friend at the sober living. She was a manager as well. Those two were the biggest support that I had at that time. Um, and then I made some good friends that just were like, "Hey, if you want to hang out and just go to the movies or something, I'll be there for you, whatever." So we just hung out. Nothing wild, just
Yeah, so just like the friends and everything, just the fellowship
yeah,
around you. Well, I
fellowship.
mean,
Yeah,
of course, your mom. Mom's always a good one.
she was a hero. That was she said she came down that night and slept in the room with me. Like I was like, oh, I'm dying.
That is so
So
sweet. My mother is a judgmental person. I'm like, Mom, I'm going through a breakup. Well, good. He wasn't good anyways. Like, I'm like, okay. She's like, I told you not to date him. So she's psychotic. So of course, being 2 years clean, or sober, whatever term you want to use, what is something you would tell your newcomer self? Um, yeah. What is something that you tell your newcomer self?
Um, it's hard to not say just the same thing because like that's been the biggest thing, right? But another thing is like if I could have started, I don't know. I feel like I for 2 years I feel like I haven't done a lot, and I would have probably tried to not do this house manager stuff like earlier. I would have put it off as long like and maybe not even done it because I didn't get to focus on myself as much.
Mm.
I was focused on other people, um, which is good, and I think that did help at times. But like, I feel like I could have already been through school already, or like I would have done more already. Whereas like I waited like a year and a half before I started actually focusing on myself and like getting to where I wanted to be in life, I guess.
Well,
Um,
but the blessing is maybe the chaos of being a house manager and focusing on like all those responsibilities help keep you clean. And now that you're out of the house manager position, you're out of halfway. Maybe now that you have some time under your belt, if school goes awry, if you fail a class,
yeah,
you're gonna be like, oh, okay, like I failed, I could do it again. Like it's
yeah,
so
that's true. It probably gave me a lot.
yeah. I mean, I'm in halfway, of course, and it's like, of course, I don't want to be here, but
Yeah,
I've got some a little bit of time under the belt, and it's like once I move out and I don't have that accountability factor, that's when I'm gonna like when something slips up or so not slips up drinking wise, but like something goes awry. That's when I'm gonna look back and be like, oh shit, thank God I lived in
yeah,
halfway, because if I went through this the moment I moved to Florida, I would have probably drank over it. But halfway helps hold that accountable, gives you those habits and everything like that.
yeah. I think that's important because that was definitely like the first week I got out of rehab. I was like crying with my cousin and a friend that I was in treatment with because I wanted to drink, and if I wouldn't have been in a sober living right or halfway, I wouldn't have been. I wouldn't have had that, and I probably would have just went and drank.
Yeah.
Um,
Trust me, people do that in halfway too.
oh, I know. I've I've had to kick people out.
I mean, I know that alcoholism and meth
Not
addiction, everything is crazy, of course, and I
yeah,
get that, but it's like it baffles me sometimes how somebody can walk out of rehab, have 90 days clean, 45 days clean, however long they were there, and within 3 hours be calling back, I need to come back. I'm fucked up. And I'm like, bitch, you just got out. Like,
yeah,
can't you hold on to it for a week?
yeah. It is crazy. It's crazy out there. It's hard. It's tough.
Yeah. I think the difference is who are they getting sober for?
Yeah.
Because
For
for me, this last time, I was like, I'm done. I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I mean, I haven't, since moving to Florida, I haven't looked back.
yeah, that was yeah. It's definitely you have to make that decision in your head that you're done. Like there's nothing. That's how at least for me. Like I even I don't know. There maybe might have been times where I got where it got tough and I maybe could have, but like I would have known that I made the decision to drink, right? I didn't because when I got sober, that was like no more. It's not happening. I'm
Mm,
not doing it. I'm done. I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to hurt the people that love me. I don't want to steal from them anymore. That type of thing. Um, and I just want to change my life. And so I'm not drinking. Right? That's when it comes down to it. I can't.
yeah, trust me, there's times that we want to, but again, as you just said, it's not about a want, it's about we can't. It's like
Yeah.
because we already know the fucking downhill slope that it's going to cause us to go down if we do. So, before we end the episode, is there anything that you would like to share with everybody that you haven't already stated?
Um, no, I don't believe so. I think that's good. I think that's all I got.
Hey, that is totally okay.
That's all I got.
So, well, of course, thank you for joining us as always.
Thank you.
Thank you again for listening to today's episode. Hit that follow button to be notified about new episodes every week. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can find us on Instagram at The Sober Unicorn Podcast or on our website at thesoberunicornpodcast.com. There you will find our episodes as well as our very own sober-owned shop featuring products from small businesses that are sober-owned. And remember everyone, don't be normal, be a unicorn, but better yet, be a sober unicorn.